Chapter 15, Leverage. Hopefully you're all having a good day. Gabe ends the call with Lucy. You're still reeling from the revelation Calvin Colby has been taking huge donations from Peter Koenig. I can't believe it. Colby's in bed with Koenig, chemical magnate, poisoner, and murderer, Peter Koenig. Birds of a feather, I suppose. And we'll need to talk to Koenig, I'm afraid. If Calvin's trying to tie up all of his loose ends, we have to find out what Koenig knows before Colby finds a way to keep him quiet. You don't think Colby's planning to kill Koenig, right? You'd be surprised how easy it is to manage in a federal prison, and how cheaply the deed can be bought. But that's not all I'm worried about. All Calvin would have to do is move Koenig to isolation or maximum security facility. Taking him out of reach of everyone's reach without the media storm. Good point. How soon are we going to be able to see him? I'll pull some strings with the warden to get you in there tomorrow morning. The less time Koenig has to hear that we're coming, the better. Get me in? You're sending me in there alone? Koenig's cunning, vicious, and he'll want to waste our time. Which is why we need to keep him off balance. Sending the associate who arrived from the middle of nowhere to take him and his multi-million-dollar company down? How could he resist meeting you face to face? So I'm bait. Clever, babe. You won't be going in unprepared. I can call Aislinn and tell her to meet us at your place. Between her research skills and my knowledge of Koenig, I'm sure we can find something to give you an advantage over him. Diamond choice, really. Let's spend time with Gabe and Aislinn. Aislinn arrives at your apartment only a few minutes after you and Gabe. I've pulled everything we had in the office on Peter Koenig. She drops a stack of boxes on your coffee table with an intimidating thud. Let's get reading. You all dive into the boxes, sorting the files and papers into 3 general categories. Let's check out trial transcripts, press reviews, financials. Let's check financials. You turn your attention to the largest of the piles. There has to be something shady in here. Almost definitely. The question is, will it help us? You start poring over the figures, taking notes, cross-referencing between tables, columns, and assessments. I've never seen so many shell companies, even for the corporation that large. It's noteworthy. He has dozens of them. And it looks like a lot more of them were hired as contractors by Koenig Chemical. So, he was paying himself? And probably using it as a way to launder money. So, that feels pretty significant. It is for a different case. Which is why Koenig Chemical is already under federal scrutiny. Good point, and I doubt they'd like us stepping on their toes with this. Let's check out Koenig's press interviews. There are countless articles and interviews with and about him. One might tie him to Colby or provide some leverage. Let's start with pieces where the interview his friends, wives, former employees. They might not all know what to conceal. Good thinking. Koenig was very controlled in the media, but his confidence might not have had the same discipline. You scour the interview, searching for something, anything. Listen to this, it's Koenig Chemical whistleblower. They said they had proof that the company knew the compounds in the fertilizer caused cancer and just didn't change them. Of course they know. That information would have made good leverage for the class action suit, but that battle's been fought and won. Thanks to us. Could there still be leverage there, though? Probably not enough. I don't think Koenig's too worried about his image now. Fair enough, let's move on. Let's check out Koenig's trial. You really want to relive the trial? The details were grisly enough the first time. There might be something we missed the first time. Plus, we weren't looking for connections to Colby then. Good thinking. You buckle down and read through the pages and pages of transcripts. I'd forgotten Koenig was looking to have Marcus assassinated in case Aliena had confided in him already. What if Koenig and Colby use the same individual for their assassinations? It could be a link. It could be. If we had any information on the actual killer, we never managed to turn up that detail. True, and I doubt we could get Koenig to share with some additional leverage on our part. Fair enough. I'll see if there's anything else. You read through the rest of the transcripts, but there's nothing new for you here. Aislinn, why are you making that face? I keep thinking about all those shell companies. Do we have their donation records? We can get them. Why? A hunch. If Koenig used a shell company to donate to Colby, maybe he used others to support other causes he didn't want tied to him. Good thinking, Ash. There might be a tie there to Colby that's more definitive. Soon enough, you work your way through the donation records of 3 of Koenig's shell companies. Damn, I'm not seeing anything suspicious. Maybe it's not in the donations. What do we know about these companies? You pull up the info for the first company. Birds and Bees was a non-profit seeking to rewild public land. Board members include Mary Phillips, John Dinsley, and Phil Skutzer. They have a lot of pictures on their website and almost no evidence that they were planted to flower. Well, KLR Medical definitely does stuff. Specifically, they sell diet pills and food supplements for extortionate amount of money. According to Senior VP Mary Phillips, they're doing their part to combat the obesity crisis sweeping America. Definitely. Or delightful. And the last company, Barnton Machinery Limited, manufactures the machinery Koenig Chemical used to use. We should check if they donated any other political campaigns. Aislinn checks the lists again. Nope, they haven't donated anything overtly political. Did you say there was a Mary Phillips on the board at the Birds and Bees, and giving press quotes from KLR Medical Research? I hadn't noticed that. It is a strange coincidence. It's because, we weren't allowed to select that. He grabs Aislinn's laptop and starts typing. And here she is again. Mary Phillips is a payroll at Barnton Machinery as a contractor. So who's Mary Phillips and how is she a board member? A senior VP and a contractor for mechanical equipment at all these shell companies. There's no pictures or information about her on any of the company websites, and it's too common a name to search on its own. I can cross-reference every mention of Mary Phillips, Peter Koenig, and Koenig Chemical. Sit tight. I'll get you some more coffee. An eternity later, Aislinn triumphantly turns her computer around to show you and Gabe the front page of a regional newspaper. God bless libraries, I've got her. You and Gabe lean in, squint at the grainy image. A woman stands with a much younger Peter Koenig at the unveiling of Koenig Seed Strain. A blurry caption runs beneath the photo. Peter Koenig with probably his mother. Oh, his sister! His sister Mary, oh my god. So sister's in on it. But I thought Koenig didn't have siblings. We looked into his family at the trial. He's clearly gone to a lot of trouble to protect her privacy. I can't find anything about her anywhere else online. But these shell companies are still all operating. She must be a beneficiary. Koenig can't access that money from inside prison. So he's gone to great lengths to provide for her and keep her safe from the public eye. That means she's gotta be serious leverage. I think you're right. Gabe checks his watch and reaches for his coat. Great work, team. Are we done? No, what we've got is what we need. And I got some things I need to do at the office before I clock out for the night. It's after midnight. Go home. Home. Office. Tamito. What? Okay, listen, I haven't had enough coffee for this shit. He heads out, leaving you and Aislinn alone. And I thought I was a workaholic. Tomato. Oh, tomato. Shut up, I've never seen it spelled out. Shut up! Aislinn, come relax with me. Tempting, but I can't stay long. You're literally my girlfriend. You could stay the whole damn night. What the hell? You pat the couch beside you, waggling your eyebrows. I don't need long. Oh my god, never say that as a dude. She laughs and joins you, resting her head against your shoulder. This is nice. It's getting nicer. You cup her chin and guide her lips to yours. kissing her softly first, then deepening the kiss. She sighs against you, snuggling close. It really does. Shame I had to dash, and that you need to sleep. I'll get you next time. I'll hold you to that. You won't. You won't hold me. You won't do it. You arrive at the maximum security prison the next morning, just as the sun peaks over the horizon. You already took Koenig down for murder, Quinn. Now all you have to do is make him squeal. You head inside, where you find a metal detector waiting, several guards at the ready. One gives a low whistle as he checks your ID. So you're Koenig's visitor. You sound surprised. Koenig's rejected every visitor request except for his lawyer since he got thrown in here, and even stopped approving him after his last appeal was denied. So no one's been to see him at all these past few months? That's right. Does he spend much time with other inmates here? Only during rec time, but we have to keep an eye on him. Elena Vasquez was popular with the inmates. Nobody thinks too highly of her killer. Ah. You relax a little. Looks like the odds of Colby having gotten a Koenig first just went down. Yet. But don't let your guard down just because he hasn't found himself a posse. He's a manipulative bastard when he needs to be. And if he's letting you in, my guess is he wants something from you. I'll keep that in mind. A short while later, you're sitting in a small, well-guarded room. You tense as a guard leads Koenig inside and shackles him to the table, and you can't help but shiver at the menace in his eyes. That's menace. Give me 2 minutes and the camera's off, and I'll show you a goddamn menace. Dark Knight has nothing on it. Quinn Michaels. Can't say I was ever expecting you to appear on my guest list. Though, of course, that would require me to have thought of you at all. Oh, I'm sure I've been reliving rent-free in your head as the guy who took you down. He looks remarkably comfortable, despite his cuffs and his polyester jumpsuit. Even in maximum security, Koenig still holds himself like a king. Hello, Peter. Still a liar, I say. You've been locked in this miserable prison for almost a year. You expect me to believe you haven't even thought about me every hour of every day? It's not so bad in here. You take your time looking around the grim concrete room, and you can't help but notice his eye twitching. It's a regular sea hut in the Maldives. Best vacation you've ever had, right? How about we skip to the point? Otherwise, I'm afraid I'll have to cut this little farce short. What do you know about the conservatorship scandal currently rocking New York District Attorney's office? No more than what I've seen on the television during rec room time. Why? Because I've been looking into it for months now, and I believe Calvin Colby's involved. The wannabe mayor. The wannabe mayor your business made several large donations to. I'm sorry, this is your big scandal. You think me and the big bad mayoral candidate are working together? Newsflash, Quinn, I've donated to dozens of political candidates across the ideological spectrum. It's good business sense. Is it good business sense to make those donations to a political candidate's shell company rather than directly to their PAC? Koenig hesitates for a split second. It can be. The real players in the business world all know those sorts of tricks. And unfortunately, it's true. These weren't just token amounts. Koenig Chemicals' donation to Calvin's PAC amounts to millions. Why bet so much on this horse? Koenig leans back and crosses his legs. He almost looks amused. It sounds like you're onto a theory. Why don't you tell me? It must be because you have something on him. After all, information on its own is good, but information plus an implicit quid pro quo is undeniable. Maybe you're as clever as Sadie thought you were, after all. I'm guessing you found evidence of the conservatorship scheme. What did he do when you confronted him about it? The usual. He begged me to stay quiet, offered me a cut, gave me a heartfelt speech about how much the city needed him. And instead you tripled your usual donation. I suggested he cut the ADAs to give himself some distance from the operation. I like it when elected officials owe me unlimited favors. You really think he'll bother to honor his debts now that you're in here? You have nothing to offer him anymore. But I still am a threat. It's less elegant, but no less effective. You'd be better off giving whatever proof you have against him to me. And why would I give up my last piece of leverage to the person who put me in this predicament in the first place? Because if you don't, I'll point to the media street of Mary. The smile disappears from his face. He sits perfectly still, as if he suddenly sensed he's in the room with an enemy worth fearing. Oh. How do you know about Mary? Didn't you hear? I'm the attorney that brought down the big bad wolf, finding a sister child's play. And I don't just know about Mary, I know where to find her. I have all the records of all the illegal money you funneled to her over the decades. You know what will happen if some people find out about her? She'll be dragged into court, humiliated, forced to give up her lifestyle. Oh, come on, that's a softball, come on. We know what would really happen to her. You can't. I can and I will unless you give me proof that Colby is pulling the strings on the conservatorship scheme. Koenig grits his teeth, glaring at you with pure hatred. Fine. Hey, look, I bested you twice in 1 year. Growing better isn't Colby's only shell company. Helped him set up several. Go Viral Marketing Solutions, Stewart & Sons Accounting, Overton Storage, Pam's Party Planning. But those sound like actual businesses. That's the point, dude. They are. That's the beauty of it. They make Colby's legitimate money on top of laundering the money from conservatorship scheme. Which he then channels back into his campaign via donations. Huh, but not excessively. He spreads the donations so thin that they wouldn't warrant a second glance to anyone examining his finances. For businesses isn't spreading it that then? Where else is he laundering it? He isn't. The rest comes in small donations from the wards themselves, or rather from the ADAs who control the ward's finances. Of course. Nobody examining the campaign finances would know that these people were under the financial conservatorship. And even if they do, there's nothing to connect them to Colby. He left the DA's office ages ago. They have nothing to do with him. Unless you know where to look. Give me those company names again. You note down the names as Koenig repeats them, then text them to Aislinn and Gabe to look into. He's saying that there are many shell companies. Someone please go look into Go Viral Marketing Solutions, also Stewart & Sons Accounting, Overton Storage, Pam's Party Planning. He's telling the truth. Every single one of those companies is a regular donator to Colby's PAC. How much? The individual donations wouldn't raise flags, but combined they total in the millions. You look back to Koenig and give him a pleasant smile. Thank you for your cooperation, and since Mary may not know how to send a card, consider his thanks from her as well. Go to hell. You stand and nod to the security guards, letting them know you're ready to leave. Peter. I wouldn't accept any more visits between now and the trial. And why is that? Because Colby isn't afraid to rack up a body count to protect his interest, and you stopped being useful the second you were convicted. In fact, I'd keep my eye out in general. A guy with his connections could get a weapon in here very easily. You're not serious. Maybe I'm just being paranoid, just something to think about. His face pales. You head for the open door without looking back. Oh, he deserved to know. Everybody deserves a fighting chance. Kapla! For Stovakor. That's right. The next few days are a blur as you and your team work to find every documented connection between Calvin Colby and the conservatorship scheme. You don't need to put me on the hold again. Just send me the text. Mambo number 5, really? Mambo number 5! I heard that one in a while. Gabe sits beside you as you rub your eyes, trying to focus on your own pile of documents. You look exhausted. I'll sleep when we found enough to nail Colby into court.
Hey, I think I found something on Stewart and Sons Accounting. They have a silent partner.
Is it Mary? Because I swear to God. Several weeks later, Gabe brings your painstakingly collated evidence before a grand jury, which shows that Calvin Colby committed multiple counts of racketeering, all of which we intend to prove in a RICO trial. The grand jury files out of the room to deliberate. After several minutes, they return. Have you reached a decision? We have, Your Honor. We've voted to indict Calvin Colby on all charges.
Finally.
It's been the next few weeks preparing your case over long days and longer nights, until finally, I have good news and bad news. We finally have a court date. Opening arguments are the day after tomorrow.
Oh, we are so ready. What's the bad news?
Martin's taking point on Colby's defense.
Martin's complicit in Hank's murder. He should be indicted as a co-defendant.
One thing at a time. Once we prove Colby orchestrated the conservatorship scheme, we can build our case against him for Hank's murder.
And as accomplices, Martin should be disbarred at very least.
I couldn't agree more, but to get there, we need to focus on beating him tomorrow. How do we outplay him? We need to find a way to throw him off his game. If Martin saunters in that courtroom looking like he owns it, the jury will believe him. If we can make him nervous about from the outset, the jury will think he and Colby have something to hide.
If anyone could know how to throw Martin off, it's Jack O'Lynn. Not that he'll likely to talk to any of us.
Don't you have an in with him, Quinn? I'm sure that's how he'd put it.
And I heard from a buddy back at McGraw-Byrne that Martin's been leaning on him hard lately. I'm sure he'd be happy to help you with mess with him.
Fine. I mean, really, it wouldn't be hard to get in Martin's head. You nonchalantly say there's connections outside to people even around him right now, but let's just go. Slowly, my diamonds dwindle. Even though I have VIP, I don't collect the shit every day, so, you know. Jacqueline responds to your text almost immediately. You meet him at a nearby coffee shop a short while later. You responded quickly. Slow work day? What an incredible attractive man sends me a booty call in the middle of the day. I drop everything. Though your taste in rendezvous points is intriguingly public. It's because this isn't a booty call, Jay, but okay. Work now, fun late, no. No fun. Does your brain live in your pants? My brain is powerful enough to concentrate on multiple tasks at once. And don't sell yourself short. It's not my brain's location that's an issue. It's your incredible allure. You can keep hitting on me, but the word is still no, dude. You tap his forehead. I need your brain back here and my allure on the shelf. Oh, fine, but only because I'm intrigued. So what do you need? Before we get to that, can I trust you? I've been trying to prove I'm on your team for weeks now, Quinn. At least give me the chance to show you, Joe, that you can. In that case, we're facing Martin in court this week. To be clear, I'm not asking you for information or anything you can ethically help me with. But if you could help me find a way to shake his confidence, put him on the wrong foot mentally before this thing starts. Playing dirty. I like it. Does that mean you know something about that might work? Until the other day, I said Martin was unshakable. But then I caught sight of his old lucky rabbit's foot in his desk drawer. Martin has a rabbit's foot? What even is that? No, don't ever ask that. I never picked him as superstitious. Maybe not in general, but when it comes to this foot, he's intense. He used to pin it inside of his jacket every time we took a test or had moot court back in law school. I even heard a rumor he slept with it under his pillow before important days. So you think losing it would bother him? I tried to touch it once. He flipped out on me. I think losing it would paralyze him at trial. If he's kept it this long, there's no way he doesn't bring it in the courtroom with him. So if we steal it, There's no way we are. You won't make it 3 feet inside McGrawburn before someone calls security on you. So we're back at square one, then. Oh, ye of little faith. Give me an hour, I'll meet you at your office with Martin's creepy foot. Fine, but this better not be a joke. Not even I have that good of an imagination, Quinn. No, I'm not gonna be a funny as hell practical joke, but at the same time, I think he's too above that. Just under an hour later, he saunters into the lobby of Ricci & Associates with a furry thing dangling from his fingers. Wow, that's weird. Yes, guaranteed to make Martin lose his mind, quite possibly. Don't even try to understand it. You take the small foot and set it carefully into your pocket. You're not a monster. You'll return it after the trial in the same condition you received it. I would have put it in a trash bag. I don't want to touch it. So where's my thank you? I'm not kissing you. Just be grateful I trusted you enough to do this. It's doing you more favors than a carefully crafted cover letter ever could. Oh, so this is recruitment theft. Call it a stage 2 interview. I like the way you do things. He turns for the door, calling over his shoulder. I can't wait for the final round. I don't think Gabe could even stomach this guy. God. The morning of the trial arrives too quickly. You've poured yourself a cup of coffee and are trying to enjoy a moment of calm when Gabe calls. You need me to pick up, or pick out the right tie? I'm already walking into the office and looking impeccable. I might add, the question is, how are you feeling about today? You're wearing the same outfit you always are! I feel ready to take down a titan. It's taken us months of hard work, but the evidence is finally on our side. We're taking that corrupt bastard down. Glad you're feeling so optimistic, because I think you should take point in court today. But this is the biggest trial of our firm has ever taken on yet. People will be expecting you to take the lead. Including Martin. Why would Martin care if I'm suddenly his opposing counsel? Because you're his rival. He hates you. Quinn, you're only one of us Martin's ever been afraid of. He wasn't even intimidated by me when I was his boss. Do you know why that is? Because I'm a small-town lawyer with a no-name school who have the nerve to come to New York? You're a small-town lawyer with a no-name school who ran rings around him. The only reason Martin got one over on you last time is because he had made a dirty deal with Eli and Sadie. He can't do that in court. And you think I'm ready to lead a RICO trial? Attorneys with decades of experience who would have a healthy dose of anxiety about that. I wouldn't be asking you to do this if you weren't ready. You won't be alone, Quinn. If you need backup, Aislinn and I will be right at the table with you. We can step in at any time. You take a long, slow breath as you realize how much trust Gabe is placing in you. It's also strategical, nothing to do with trust. Thanks, Gabe. I'll bring this case home. You're gonna put our firm on the map, Quinn. Now go and put on something that tells the jury and everyone else that you're the one they need to listen to. Appearances matter. Got it. I'll see you at the courthouse. Wear an outfit that screams boss. Corduroy pants and corduroy jacket. Oh my god, it's been a long time. My dude. Listen, I had a gold pair of corduroy pants when I was a kid, okay? Gold pair, okay? Gold pair. Good times. Not really, but good times. At least they're bringing it back, maybe, I don't know. You change into a new suit and check yourself over in the mirror. It wasn't my selection, okay? I never got to pick out my clothes as a kid. I feel like I could run for president in this outfit. Please don't. But first, let's take on a corrupt politician. You grab your briefcase, check your notes, and march confidently out the door. Your heart is in your throat as you enter the courtroom and take a seat beside Gabe and Aislinn. Wow, Quinn, you look like you should be on the cover of Opus. If this all goes the way we plan, he will be. I'm surprised we beat Martin here. He likes to arrive early as a form of psychological warfare. It's because the rabbit's foot. Well, you know, right now you can hear him screaming in his office, "Where is it? Where is my rabbit's foot?" Maybe your little plan with Jay worked. Let's hope. Here he comes. You turn in your chair in time to see Martin enter the Calvin Colby at his side. He sneers as he meets your eye, a haughty confidence, until you pop open your jacket and suddenly reveal the rabbit's foot pinned inside. Okay, that's low. Dude, that is fucking low. Dude, no. What? UNF. Watch where you're putting those damn feet, Vanderwell. He goes your jacket with a grin as Martin apologizes. I'd say it worked. Have you thought about your opening statement? I've been going over it since you called. I'm ready. Good. Just make sure your delivery placed your strengths. You mean my charming personality? Yes, actually. You're kind, empathetic, ethical. Turn that on the jury and they'll know they can trust you. The jury files in, followed by the clerks. At last, you stand as the judge arrives, your heart hammering in your throat. Counselor, you may begin your opening statement. Here goes everything. Has anyone here heard of the Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act, or RICO, as it's most commonly known? The jury blinks at you. Good. You smile at them. Don't worry, that's what we lawyers are here for. RICO exists to target perpetrators of organized crime, people who abuse and corrupt the systems meant to protect the vulnerable. Over the course of the trial, we will prove the defendants did just that through a series of unlawful conservatorships. Why? For money, of course, but most importantly, to prop up the campaign funds of Calvin Colby, the man at the head of the scheme. Listen, I watched a month long of AH doing that shit. Okay? If you know AH, you know. No, don't do that frown bullshit. You hear Calvin tut from the other side of the room, but you keep your focus on the jury. You can tell you have their attention. This would be a good time to play to my strengths. People of the jury, I know the primary defendant is well known, even well liked, but you must consider his victims. Would you, having reached your retirement, want to be taken from your friends, your home, your ability to make decisions about your life, just so you could act as a politician's personal piggy bank? Because that's what Mr. Colby has done to dozens, if not more, of our city's elderly. And I ask you to help me stop him from doing it again. You return to your seat and are pleased to see several members of the jury nodding as they make notes on their legal pads. Great job, Quinn. Looks like you made an impact. Thank you. I needed appeasement like bullshit. And being told I do good job like a puppy. Martin stands, pushing his chair back with a screech that makes even the judge flinch. Ahem. Yes, well, he nervously adjusts his jargon. While nobody is here to deny that the seriousness of the validity of the conservatorship scheme itself, he clears his throat, taking a deep breath that seems to steady him slightly. To implicate my client's involvement is ludicrous. Calvin Colby is a lifelong civil servant who made rooting out corruption the very centerpiece of his mayoral campaign. This suit is a petty attempt to smear him politically. We will show that there is no evidence tying Mr. Colby to this scheme. He takes a seat. Colby puts a companionable hand on his shoulder. All a show for the jury. Mr. Michaels, you're free to call your witnesses. We call Sarah Ramiro to the stand. The young woman from Bell Bureau takes a stand and swears to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Sarah, can you please tell the jury what you do for a living? I'm an orderly at Bell Bureau General Hospital. Is it part of your job to refer patients to other facilities, say an elderly person to a nursing home? If their condition warrants it, absolutely. We have a duty to act in the best interest of our patients.
I can't just send a confused old lady with a broken hip and no one to look after her home. I'm going to get her into care.
But isn't it true that you often lied about your patient's conditions? She scoffs.
I never lied about a patient. That would have serious consequences for the patient and for me.
Aislinn hands you a form and you pass it on to Sarah. Could you explain to the court then why your colleague Brandon Ruse wrote the assessment of Sorcha Flannery as mentally sound and fit to return home? A form that found itself replaced by your own assessments to the contrary, filed only days before yours. A flicker of fear passes over her face.
There must have been a mistake.
I should think so. If two highly trained medical professionals could read one situation so differently. I also wonder how the metadata of Nurse Ruiz's assessment shows that it was removed from Miss Flannery's file and placed in that of an already discharged patient.
Sometimes things get misfiled by accident.
But this wasn't an accident, was it? It was the first step in turning an elderly woman without listed next of kin into a cash cow. Objection, speculation? I'll let this play out for now. Make your point, counselor. You take a folder from your briefcase, passing it to the judge. Your Honor, I'd like to enter a list of referral Sarah Romero made Green Gardens Nursing Home. We've already gone to the trouble of cross-referencing it against a list of confirmed victims of the scheme. I'll save you the time of having Miss Romero read all these out. The lists are a perfect match, counselor. You can give these to the jury. Once the jury has the evidence, you return to the witness. Can you explain this, Miss Romero? How is it that every victim of the scheme was referred by you for managed care?
It must be a coincidence.
I don't believe in coincidences. A coincidence! You really believe that wipes out the harm you've caused? Decades of savings down the drain. Months spent separating from their families. You can't even muster an apology? Objection, who's testifying here, Your Honor? Question withdrawn, no further questions. You relinquish your witness to Martin. He buttons his jacket and approaches the stand. What I should do is dangle the rabbit's foot. Like, just swing it around my finger, right? So, you know, he knows it's in my clutches. Miss Romero, do you have any certain markers to identify which patients warranted referral?
There's no official checklist. If I worry about a patient's safety and well-being, I refer them.
Do you have any further part in this process?
No, I just told them what I saw in the hospital. From there, I guess it goes to the courts or a social worker.
Oh, so you simply pass the names of patients you identify as a high risk onto a qualified team for assessment.
That's right.
No further questions. I don't think the rabbit foot's working too well since he doesn't see it. The trial continues like this all day, as you and Martin work to build cases against each other, one of you gaining the advantage before the other quickly catches up. Mr. Goodall, can you tell me how you speak with Oliver Reed, the guardian listed in every single one of these conservatorships?
I'm sorry. I'm not sure how. I'm not sure I follow.
You're referred as so many elders to his care. I'm sure you've spoken, and yet we can't find a home address for him anywhere. Additionally, he never answers his listed phone number, failed to respond to summons from the score. How did you reach him when no one else can?
We mostly emailed.
But have you ever met this man?
Of course I have. Why?
Because I have evidence that the only person with access to the P.O. box listed for Oliver Reed is you. You approach the bench with the photos of the ADA accessing the box in question. You can see the zoomed-in photo that the ADA is indeed opening the same box listed as Mr. Reed's sole address. Yeah, Martin. This you can't spin.
Yes, I accepted payments in return for certain rulings on conservatorship cases.
And who organized this arrangement?
2 assistant district attorneys acting under Calvin Colby's direction.
He looks apologetically at Colby.
I'm sorry, Calvin, but I can't keep this up anymore.
Colby looks bewildered, but you see several members of the jury shaking their heads in disgust. Well, there's strike number 2 against Martin and Calvin. Finally, you call your last witness to the stand.
So help me God.
Miss Flannery. How long have you been under conservatorship?
Months now.
And in that time, have you been allowed to contact anyone outside of the nursing home?
My granddaughter found a way to get her name on the visitor list a few months back, but other than her, no. The bloody court assigned me a guardian and tossed me into the world's tallest building and bore myself to death.
Colby nudges Martin's hand.
What are you doing? Object.
Objection, Your Honor. Relevance. In my opinion, this woman's experience under these false conservatorships is highly relevant to why we're here today.
Objection is overruled, but move along.
Your tire's helping you out. Oh, shut up! I hate that bullshit. Miss Flannery, do you know what happened to your belongings, your home?
The bastards are selling everything. No one consulted me or asked if I might like to keep anything. I didn't even get a phone call, just a notice from Queen's Liquidation this morning that the house was on the market.
She pulls a document out of her bag, thinking fast. You enter it into evidence before continuing your questioning. So your guardian didn't speak to you at all about this?
My so-called guardian has never spoken to me. I haven't so much as met the man, not even at my trial. I doubt the useless git exists at all.
So, no further questions. Martin wastes no time jumping in, no doubt to prevent the jury from stewing over Sorcha's revelations. Miss Flannery, can you please identify your granddaughter to the court?
Oh, she's a beautiful lawyer watching you embarrass yourself from just over there.
Insert jury, chuckling. Yeah, no. A few members of the jury chuckle as she points Aislinn out. So you're the grandmother of a member of the opposing counsel.
Are you hard of hearing? Yes.
Not hard of hearing, I just wanted the jury to hear the plaintiff's star witness appears to be a family member. What further evidence do you need that the trial is a farce born out of a vendetta against my client?
Who else could they ask? Most of the wards there are afraid they'll never be allowed to go home if they talk. And of course, so many of them have no homes to go back to now. They've already been sold, and all the things in them, too. So I'm representing all of us. Because we deserve to be heard. We matter.
No further questions.
Do the plaintiffs have any further witnesses?
Not at this time, Your Honor. The plaintiffs rest.
Defendants, you may call your first witness.
You take your seat with a sense of relief.
I told you were the right person to take point.
You were on fire, Quinn. This would not have been all in one day, I'm just saying. Now we wait for Martin to call Colby to the stand. Then we grill him until his skin's scorched. The case could well come down to your cross of him. We've established the extent of fraud. Now we just need to tie him to... Gabe falls silent as Martin stands. There's a change in Martin's body language, all of his previous nerves melting away to reveal an unnerving confidence. We have an additional witness who didn't appear on our previous list. In light of accusations made today, we feel you'll agree it's justified.
And who might that be?
The defense calls Oliver Reed Miss Flannery's legal guardian. Martin's come prepared, in ways you didn't anticipate. Were you wrong about Oliver Reed this whole time? Keep playing to find out. No, I'm sure that they had some Oliver Reed in the wings. Especially some poor schmuck who basically, wants money. Right? Like, I'm sure, and I hate to put you all out there, but let's just say hypothetically, someone came to you and said, one day we may call upon you to be someone that you need to be. But in the meantime, we'll pay you $15,000 a month. It could be years. You sit there and you get paid your $15,000 a month. Right? Then finally, 3 years later, and you're called and told, okay, you've been this guardian this whole entire time. That's all you need to do is be a guardian over people and make sure that they are financials. And you get grilled, you get coached what to say, and then you appear for $15,000 a month. Let's just say it was for 5 years. It's a lot of money, right? You can either keep working or you can live off that $15,000 a month, whatever you want to do, right? It's a lot of money. Would you do it? Most likely you would. Just for you to exist? You may never even get called. Think about that. You may never even get called. Like they have to pay off their people like that. They have to keep them in their back pocket. If you've learned anything from the other book that we've been doing, let alone life, this happens. No, this very much happens. I mean, we just had a president who was using things like this, right? I mean, that's not fictional. That's actual factual. That was proven in a court of law, just like this was today. So, like, things like this are done all the time. There's things that I could go down and I would be here for hours explaining to you, and you would be shocked by some of the things that I would tell you. It's one of the things like I like talking about here and there. It's small and insignificant, but it's kind of like at the end of the video, right? I like to talk a couple minutes here and there, depending on, you know, how the video went or my feelings. And I do the same on my streams, really. So feel free to go over to the purple thing and follow me sometime. I'll be streaming later this evening, actually. So feel free to come by and we can talk, or you can listen, or whatever. Or I can listen to you, whatever. Yeah. No, the world is a really unfair place. Let's put it that way. It's very unfair, especially to all of us, right? I myself have been given a really bad hand, and I've tried to make the best possible thing with my life. And I'm sure if I ever sat down and told you guys the whole story, your mouths would just drop to the floor, right? I mean, you know, all you guys know of is what I'm going through right now. If I was to tell you everything up to this point, you would just... And even what happened this week, your mouths would just drop on the floor. Seriously, you would just be like, what the hell? So with that being said, love your beautiful faces. Thank you all for watching. Remember that if you did enjoy the video, to like it, to share the channel. Continue to have people join this community, join this family that we've had growing now for 11 years. 11 years when you think about it. 11 years I've been doing this. 6 years doing choices, but, you know, think about it. That is half as long as I've been doing content. We've got over 3,800 videos. Most of them are other games too, other streams, other things. So again, feel free to check all that out. You guys have years upon years of content to watch, and it's just as equally entertaining, or so I hope. Thanks again for watching. Catch you all later. Peace out.